I'm Kevin Casey. I'm a professional mixed martial arts fighter. And right now what I'm about to do is issue a warning out to all other competitors.
I don't want overs. I just expect them to happen.
Fatty's gonna fatty is real.
He is terrible!
You gotta know how many wieners are going down these dudes' throats.
I'm gonna go quick because I don't give a fuck about anything that's gonna happen on Saturday.
Hello, boys! We are back. It's been a long while. We're in the holiday season. We're looking for some holiday cheer from the U.S. to Canada and all throughout. The fight game slept, but now it is officially awake with the closing stretch of some of the 2019 events and a big 2020 ahead with some big fights on the docket. I am joined, as always, by the Canadian teenager. You know him well, the Connor McDavid love child.
Oh, so good.
The largest mall. He is a mall rat of the largest mall in North America, or so he claims. He is still struggling. He's just growing some peach fuzz. New Sean, how's it going?
It's beautiful. We're full into winter. Just shoveled about 1.5 feet of snow off my driveway. My Oilers are not terrible at this moment, so we still got hope, and Connor McDavid's leading the NHL in points. So it's pretty good right now.
Somebody
I can't complain.
That. I think somebody bet that pretty heavily, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Yes, sir.
When this person looks outside, they don't see white snow. They see blue grass. It is Big Blue Nation's most... He's a fan. He's a fan.
Yeah.
He knows a few gods. They all happen to wear Kentucky blue. He is the landmaster, the mowing expert. He throws down his Scott's fertilizer with regularity. It is the Sosman, Wes Colvin. What do you got for us tonight?
Oh man, doing pretty good. I will say that I'm glad that my Kentucky fandom has rubbed off all the way up there in the Great White North of Canada. Our boy Bo has become a massive Big Blue Nation member. Even talks to people down here on the old Twitter machine.
They have protected people up in Canada, New Sean.
Are they
the eighth tribe?
Oh man. That bit is so good.
Yeah, doing pretty good, man. Got some refreshness in. A little break from the UFC fights. The fight game did continue to go on. Lots of pretty good cards and some boxing in between. Big heavyweight title fight this weekend too. But we're here to talk some MMA, and I think we had a few pretty big fights announced while we were on hiatus.
Yeah, we were on a quality hiatus with just blah MMA going on, but we have come back, and it has prompted us to, it's prompted the world, our hiatus, to announce fights worthy, of our talking about them. There are a few big title fights ahead and a non-title fight. I'm not even sure which one to start with, but I guess we should talk about, the one that's closest in January. We'll start there first. It looks like Wes's favorite fighter, McNutty.
The nutty one.
The nutty one. I guess that's a nice way to put it.
The rapey one.
He definitely likes nutting.
The rapey one. Yeah.
Yeah, super kind of. Yeah. He's facing, it looks like it's going to be Donald Cerrone. This was long talked about, and it's happening. I don't know what else they're doing on this pay-per-view. I was looking at the card earlier. There's not much else going on unless they're announcing one other fight for this event, or they just don't give a shit. They're just going to let Connor just run this thing.
Yeah,
Mm.
that's happening. So McGregor's back in MMA for the first time in how long? Over 2 years?
Yeah,
Come on,
Runs
Jay.
around
wow.
2 years.
You're not a big fan of the Holly Holm Raquel Pennington 2 fight? That's gonna go tonight?
Huge fight.
That's
That
huge
worthy
fight.
co-main event.
Worthy.
Very worthy. I'm gonna say McGregor wins. I'm gonna say it right now.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I mean he
I think he
opened
does
as a
too.
pretty big favorite. This is
It's a perfect
this is a
fight.
pretty good
Yeah.
style matchup for him. We kind of talked about it. I think we all agreed this was kind of the way they should go. I'm a little bummed for Justin Gaethje just because with
He's
another fight
scared
that
of
got
him.
announced, now he's going to be kind of on the shelf for a long time, and we all enjoy his violence. that
Wait,
he
he's
brings,
on the
but-
shelf? Why?
Well,
Because I matched
mean,
them
he's
all up.
because he's going to fight the winner.
I thought you were
well,
saying he
now
was injured. I was like,
No.
I've been in a time capsule, but not that badly.
no, but he doesn't have anybody to fight because I mean he's basically waiting on Khabib Tony now.
Can he just do a Mike Tyson 1985 and just crush cans?
Yeah, but the UFC doesn't really do that, so unfortunately he's just gonna have to hang out and smoke weed and heal that pudding brain of his.
Yeah, take a little time off. I'm not opposed to that. Yeah.
But yeah,
Don't
this
take
was
too much time off. He might that pudding's gonna turn to mush, and there's not gonna be anything left.
Applesauce.
Yeah, applesauce. Yeah.
the
Someone's
Cerrone
got to
fight
find his pork
was
chop to
gonna
match
be
with
the
it.
the one that you kind of had to go with. It's a good fight for McGregor. It should get him back in the win column. It's against a known fighter, and Cowboy gets a big payday for stepping in
Years
all
of
those
service.
times in last second.
He's gonna be a good company man.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Sean, like he said, we had talked about it. I think Sean even said it that the Cowboy fight was the perfect fight for Conor. It's a huge name in the sport outside of his, an absolute winnable fight. It's up at 170, so
Just
neither
kinda
one of
weird.
them. Yeah, it's where neither one of them's really gonna have to worry about cutting any kind of weight or anything like that. I kind of get it. I'd have liked to see him maybe at 155, but whatever. I'm more curious of to see what this fight does. I don't know if we even get pay-per-view numbers anymore. I guess they'll be able
Pay-per-view
to-
numbers. Oh man. I don't think we're getting anything.
Yeah, I don't think they don't have to anymore. They don't even because it's all ESPN. But I think they'll be able to measure some kind of online traffic and shit, and kind of give us a general how interested people are in this. Because I think Conor's lost a big part of his fan base, man. And not just people like me, people that were like diehard McGregor fans had started to turn on him. And it's funny, it's not even really over the multiple rape allegations and shit. It's just that he won't fucking fight. They're more mad about
not winning. Not winning plays a part.
Yeah, just not even being out there. I think Irish people would kind of generally think like us when we can look at a guy that was sort of humble beginnings, I would say, I guess, and then get a bunch of money and turn into an absolute piece of shit. I think that turns off anybody, you know what I'm saying? And I'm really interested to see. I don't know if this would be a true, indication since it is Cowboy. But either way, me personally, I think this is a big fight, man. I'm a huge Cowboy fan. Everything I've ever said about Conor, I like to watch the guy fight. I think he was a really, really good fighter. I think it's a big fight, and I'm looking forward to it, man. Shit, hell, let me get that switch kick, head kick knockout, Cowboy. God damn, I would lose my shit. I don't think it's gonna happen, but yeah, good fight for Conor. And like Sean said, also really sucks for Gaethje, man. These dudes are frightened of Gaethje, and for good reason. That
They are. I agree.
guy, he's a matchup nightmare for every one of those dudes. He's a matchup nightmare. I think I would pick Khabib over him. But man, it's still he's a bad matchup for guys, and I think guys are ducking him. And it sucks we can't. I'd like to see him fight, in between this, but I get him not fighting. This dude's made it to the pinnacle. He deserves a title shot against one of the top dudes, and I'd wait it out too. And that's going to be an insane fight, man. You could pair up any one of those three guys, and even throw Conor in the mix, they're all just massively huge fights. And it's a good time in the division, at least.
1 month later, February, we got the return of Dwight. He's back.
The
GOAT. He is the GOAT. Facing against Dominic Reyes, who's still undefeated. And kind of gone without why? Because
technically,
with
he
the
lost.
fight with Ozdemir.
Yeah, Ozdemir beat him, dude. That was a fucking really, really bad decision. Really bad.
Nobody really won that fight. Let's be honest.
Mm.
I mean, it was really kind of like we all lost.
I get it, but I think it was I think it was easy to score though too, and I think he lost. Not like it
had money on Ozdemir.
Yeah. Just a little bit.
But yeah, this one, I mean, what else was Jones? Who else was Jones gonna fight? It wasn't gonna be Corey Anderson. It wasn't
or Johnny
gonna
Walker.
Be. Well, yeah, obviously, or Jan Blachowicz. So they get a guy that's technically undefeated. He's a bit of a prospect, and Jones gets to test himself against a young guy.
This is not an easy fight for John.
No, and we know
he could make
seen
it an easy fight if he wanted to.
But
it's John Jones.
Done that in a while.
Does he want to? And the answer's probably no.
He definitely has some issues with guys that have long reach and kind of a rangier game, so it could be. I think this is going to be a good test because we've kind of seen two duds by Jones, just kind of our high standard of him. If he lays another one and just kind of ekes out a decision, then I think we might be looking at a bigger problem than what we've kind of expected.
Or lack of motivation.
Yeah. Yep.
At some point, we have to be like, he's not going to maintain the same level of excellence forever.
He needs to have somebody that worries him. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't think you're maybe ever gonna see the John at his peak again unless he gets a guy that legitimately worries him. I'm not sure Reyes does, but it seems like that.
I think he should, but
he should, and I think the talk is getting big now that John's on the decline. And that I see quite a few people saying Reyes is the guy that's gonna knock him off. I think it also is that thing that we've talked about on here many a times, to where motherfuckers want to be the first guy that say, "Oh, I picked that." I think that's got a lot to do with it, of course. But I've seen a couple guys that really think Reyes is the guy, and have said that for a while now. I don't see it, man. Like I was saying, John could make this a really easy fight and win this fight with ease. If he would take him down and smash him, I'm not sure John's going to do that, because he like never does that when he could. But I think this is a guy that they're rushing a little bit, man. There's just nothing else. And they're rushing a guy. The setup of the fight's better than the Corey Anderson fight, but I really wanted to see Corey Anderson get smashed by John after all the dumb shit.
It'll happen. Don't worry, it'll happen.
I want to see that a whole lot more than I want to see John smashing Dominic Reyes. But I mean, you're right. Maybe John doesn't take it serious like it seems like he has been, and Reyes has some power, man. You're right. John struggled with guys with length, but man, I'll say it again. If the dude would use his superior fucking wrestling here and his just all-time great ground and pound, he would fucking take out Reyes with ease. I'm just not sure that's how John's going to fight this fight.
I know fighters seem to not be motivating him. How about winning only a split decision last time out and almost losing his title? That better fucking
That has
this
to,
guy.
right? That has to.
He better show
leaving
up
Anthony Smith in the fight
dominant.
before that.
He should have been
maintaining
maintaining the zero in his record. So.
Leaving Anthony Smith in the fight before that, and could have been disqualified because he left Anthony Smith in the fight that long. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're right, Sean. His legacy is on the line and shit, man. You keep leaving these guys in these close fights with these fucking judges, man. It's gonna catch him eventually.
Playing
if he
with
doesn't
fire.
start. Yep.
You're playing with fire in this MMA game, doing shit like that. So it'll be a good test, and we'll see where Jones is at, and hopefully he comes out and does some dominant shit, and we're back to enjoying the GOAT.
He's still the GOAT. Y'all motherfuckers are slow, y'all shit. They're just people's motherfuckers want to jump off that bandwagon so quick. They hate that guy so much, man. I love it. People hate him, so they want just to jump off the bandwagon so quick. I've already seen shit this year of naming other guys like fighter of the decade and shit because John hasn't been great. Like, are you fucking serious? Like, are you really seriously saying that this dude isn't fighter of the decade, fighter of the all time? Like, whatever, man. Hate.
He is the most accomplished resume of any fighter in MMA history. That's just the reality of it.
His run through those 7 or 8 former or current champions is one of the best runs in MMA history. You can stack that shit up against anybody. It blows Anderson Silva's run completely out of the water. It's like not even close.
That's correct. That is the truth. And then the last fight,
the best,
the most anticipated fight in the world.
I guess it would be. Habib will. Well, it was announced that Habib will be defending his title against Tony Ferguson in April. Chances of that fight happening, though, it's already been canceled how many times?
5.
Yeah.
Tony Ferguson's got 2 dumbbells on a blow-up ball right now, balancing.
I don't think it happens, but if it does, it will be Habib's biggest test to date, and we'll see what happens. A win for Habib would completely legitimize his legacy. There will be no conversation that anyone could have at that point to say that he's had a padded record or soft competition, anything along those lines. I think this is the win he needs to really put himself in the all-time like top 5-ish great conversation. Because now I think there are definitely some question marks from some because they said he hasn't beaten enough great fighters. Your guys' thoughts?
Go ahead, Wes.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, man. Me personally, I think Khabib has proven what he has to prove. You're right. There's 2 guys that's out there that would totally cement his legacy up there, and for me, I'll never put him past Bones. But if he could beat,
he never loses, yeah.
If he could beat Tony Ferguson and Justin Gaethje back to back, I think you have some serious. You could have some arguments to me about calling him the greatest fighter ever. Like seriously, undefeated, to beat those 2 guys back to back. I could see some arguments. Maybe not greatest. Start putting him in that.
Never
top.
Really be challenged.
Yeah,
at this point.
Yeah. That's why to me personally, the guy's already like right around that top 5. He's unbelievable. The dude's never been challenged. I mean, he's like we've talked about it before. Just him not losing a round for so long. You know, this is like this fight and Gaethje are the matchups though that are the worrisome ones that you could actually, I think it's more, I think Tony's, I don't know. It's hard to argue. Gaethje, you kind of know what you're going to get out of Gaethje though. Tony's just so wild, man. Anything could happen. I think Khabib beats Tony. I think Khabib can control him enough, get him down and control him enough to win that fight. But damn, it's good, man. And he beats Tony. That legacy's secure for a lot of people, I think. He beats Tony and Gaethje back to back. Man, that's in some other category shit. And he's got a chance to do that. So we'll see. They got to make it though, man. We talked about it. They got to make it. This fight's been made, I think, 3 or 4 times already. I'm always worried about Ferguson, man. I mean, that dude the shit that he does and posts on Twitter and shit is just some batshit crazy training. I get it probably helps him in fights. That dude puts his body in, positions and things that, anything that might get thrown his way. So, but yeah, they got to make it, man. I hope they get there, and I hope we get that fight. That's the best one of the three right there. That's an all timer.
Yeah, not much more else to say. Let's just cross our fingers and wait till April?
Yep, another
That's a
4+
long
months. That's a long time with those two. Don't get too excited.
Yep.
All right, so that does it for the futuristic outlook. Some big fights ahead. It should be exciting. In the short term, we have a fight card in our nation's capital. Two of our nation capital. New Sean, sort of your big brother's capital. So we'll let it stand. There's I guess it's 12 fights. I think it is. For now. I don't know where to start. We got Jacob Craig Kilburn, whoever that is, taking on Billy Quartanillo. I think I remember him from the Contender Series.
Craig Kilburn is fighting?
Craig Kilburn.
Where's that dude been? He's been training MMA. Hell, didn't even know it. Oh, fuck. Yeah, I don't, honestly, I don't know. I really don't know much about this Kilburn guy. I did go back and watch this other cat's, however the fuck you say his name. I checked out his Contender Series fight, and he got a 3rd round KO over I don't know, some fucking bum they brought on there, man. So I really don't know what to think here, man. I guess he should get the win, but laying minus 350 on a dude in this fight against somebody I really have no idea. So pick's gonna be whatever the fuck his name is, Billy
Quarantine.
Billy Quarantillo. He's gonna be the pick, man. But there's no way I can lay any kind of juice like that.
Fair enough. New Sean, any thoughts on this one before we move on?
Kilburn getting a UFC title or UFC shot, beating
easy,
beating a guy.
Easy. What do you know?
Yeah, fair enough. He beat a guy that was 2-0 last time out, and now he's in the UFC.
Is he local? Is he a local guy?
He's from Tennessee.
Oh shit! Yeah, that makes no sense, bro.
Yeah, I don't know. So yeah, I'll take the quarantine one.
So will I. Not much else to say here. We got a women's fight. We got Virna Jandiroba taking on something called Mallory Martin. Wes, do you know anything about this Martin character or no? She's from Denver. That's all I know.
I've seen some highlights. Our boy. Shout out to our boy, huge honky humongous dude posts all kinds of good fight clips and shit. If you don't want to go back on Fight Pass searching all these fights and shit, I've seen some highlights, man. I have no idea, dude. She's been fighting in Invicta, and I don't follow the lower level chicks of Invicta, so I really have no clue how good she is. She's won all of those fights. I know this other chick, Carla. She lost that fight, but I don't know what to think of her. I know she's really good jiu-jitsu, and I'm not sure how good Martin is on the mat. I won no part of this fight, man. I guess the pick is in Tout Master probably be Martin for me because I need to make up some points, but I can't touch this fight either way with any kind of money.
New Sean, anything here?
Next fight, please.
All right, no overs from you. Okay.
Don't even give a shit.
Wow, this is a rare day. We got hot sauce, Trevor Smith. Is he still hot sauce, or is he kind of
You
like?
know he is.
Or is he like jalapeno sauce? I mean, who knows?
He's mild. He's like medium sauce.
He's the one of the early Curb Your Enthusiasms where the dude's a porn star and he says he couldn't get his shit back up, so he shoved a bottle of hot sauce up his ass.
That's how he got his nickname.
Yeah.
That's like the second episode. So
Yeah, that's like one of that's on the first season. It's fucking Saul from Breaking Bad.
Yeah. Wow.
sorry, Jay.
That's fine. He's taking on Mahmoud Muradov. He's fought in the UFC before.
Yeah, he beat DiCirico. Yeah. Man, look, Trevor Smith is fucking terrible, dude.
And he's old.
This guy's losing. He's losing to Theodoro and shit, man.
Turns 39 in January.
Yeah, Mahmoud should take hot sauce out, man. But I'm not laying minus 400 on a guy. I don't care if it's against Trevor Smith. He's got one win over fucking DiCirico and beat up a bunch of other dudes on some local scene. So he should fuck up Trevor Smith, but I'm not laying minus 400 on him.
New Sean.
Yeah, it's hard to argue with Wes. Like, Trevor Smith is terrible, but he's a crafty veteran, and I guess this is an okay test for a relatively new UFC fighter. Minus 420 is kind of crazy. Yeah. Not touching it. Can't put money on Trevor Smith in 2019, but yeah, I'll pick Muradov. He should finish him.
I got both the guys at D+. Just haven't seen enough of Muradov yet to warrant a higher grade. I certainly think he should be favored over Trevor Smith, especially with Trevor Smith's with his advanced age in this weight class. I mean, it's gonna fall off. It's already fallen, but it's gonna fall off a cliff real quickly. It's just a matter of when it it's free falls. So I'll take Muradov, but it's tough to lay 4-1 on a relatively unproven fighter. Next up, we got Joe Solecki. Ooh, sounds like a fun guy. Making his UFC debut against the ghost of Matthew Wyman.
He's from Jersey.
Yeah,
Sounds like a Jersey guy.
At least he only took 5 months off this time instead of 5 years. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I should have took more after that beating.
Very thoughtful.
I don't think too much of Solecki. I did go back and watch his Contender Series fight. It was a decent win against an okay guy, I guess. Man, Weinman is fucking toast, man. Like I don't know what they're doing here. Like they pull him off the construction site after 5 years and feed him to fucking Bob Ross and let him beat the fuck out of him and I mean, he beat the shit out of fucking Matt Wyman, and then they give him another young kind of up and coming guy off the Contender Series. So I guess they're just using Wyman as the punching bag instead of the Contender Series guy. So yeah, Solecki's going to be the pick here, but it's another one, man. There's some red flags. I'm not laying minus 350 on this guy, even against Matt Wyman, but he'll absolutely be the pick.
New Sean?
Yeah, they threw Matt Wyman a bone. So Solecki's more of a jiu-jitsu guy, so he's like, you might get a little bit less brain damage this time. You're just gonna get choked out or some shit, and then you can just collect your paycheck and don't let the door hit you on the ass on the way
There's
out.
your 2-fight deal, fuckface.
Yeah, I don't know why Matt Wyman came back, but
Nobody does.
It's likely gonna be a very bad night for him. That being said, not a chance in hell I would lay minus 330 on Joe Solecki.
Yeah, I know very little about Solecki, but Wyman's a D- for me. He's a ghost at this point. He took a lot of damage not too long ago, and he's just not a UFC caliber fighter anymore. So a complete fade of Wyman. I'll take Solecki, but without having any quality footage to look at Solecki with, can't bet it. Or at least not him. Moving on, a very closely lined bout between Bryce Mitchell and Matt Sales, between two featherweight prospects. This should be a decent scrap, Wes, right?
Yeah, this is. I think this fight is as close as the line is. I think that line's pretty spot on here. I kind of favor Bryce Mitchell here. I think he's a little bit better on the feet. If he can keep it off of his back with Sales on top of him, I think he's got an okay chance in this fight. I really like Bryce Mitchell's win over Tyler Diamond coming off of the Ultimate Fighter. I still think Tyler Diamond's pretty good. I know he didn't get a contract. He got a couple, I think a loss right after that. But I still think Tyler Diamond's really fucking good. He's a really good wrestler, and Bryce Mitchell out wrestled him in that fight. So, yeah, it's really close, man. I'm gonna lean Mitchell by decision, but probably pass on a bet unless Mitchell gets up to plus 125 or something around that area. I might sprinkle on that, but Mitchell's the pick. No bet as of right now.
Nushan, any bets on this one?
I'm going to probably play Matt Sales just very, very small. I do think it's a fairly close fight. Bryce Mitchell is very crafty on the ground. He can hit sweeps. He can throw up subs. So I think if Matt Sales smart, he just stuffs takedowns, doesn't look for any on his own, and just tries to strike, because I do think he has a decent advantage on the feet. But Bryce Mitchell just has a way to... He's just got a style that kind of turns stuff into a brawl, and then kind of people get tangled up and shit gets crazy. So I'm definitely not putting too much money on Matt Sales, but I'm going to put like a 1-unit bet on him at like minus 120.
I got both of these guys, same grade. Actually, no, Mitchell C, sorry. Sales C minus. Sales, I like his overhand. I think he's really dangerous on the feet. I like Mitchell's all-around game. I think he's got a pretty all-around skill set. We've seen it on display with the Ultimate Fighter. We also saw it so far in his career in the UFC. I think he's confident. I think he's capable of getting the result. I think he should be a small favorite here over Sales, and I'll take him to win. This is close to a bet for me, but not locked in. Okay, let's see. From young guys to old dudes, we get Thiago Alves and Timmy Means. This, I think, is going to be fairly one-sided, though. Wes, do you agree?
Yeah. Generally, I do think this should be a get right fight for Tim Means. I'm still not sure how Thiago Alves is still fighting, especially still fighting and making it to the scorecards the past few times. He's even got a win in there over Max Griffin.
Fuck me now on that one.
Now we know Max Griffin is one of the biggest mooks fucking in this sport.
Yes, he is a mook.
He really is. Yeah, I would bet Tim Means in this spot, but I'm leery of 35 plus year old guys coming off KOs like the one he did. That just is always just a bad sign for me. He has taken a good amount of time off, which is good to see, and if his brain and everything's right, he should piece up Thiago here. I think he gets a KO, so I'm gonna pick Tim Means, but no bet as of right now. If by any chance some Thiago money comes in over the next couple of days, I might put a bet on Means. Maybe look inside the distance or by KO, but he'll be the pick.
Nushan, are you aligned with Wes on this one?
I just can't believe I lost a bet to Thiago Alves in 2019 on that Max Griffin fight.
That was bad.
That's just insane.
Pathetic.
also lost money on Tim Means when he got knocked out by Nico Price. So this is just a stay away fight for me. I think Tim Means is the fresher fighter, even though he's a year younger, but they both have a shit ton of fights. He still has a sketchy chin, so I'm not gonna lay the minus 265 that's out there right now. I'll just pick him, and hopefully it's a fun fight, and hopefully Alves doesn't get too injured, because this is also his last fight on his contract, and we usually know how that goes with fighters. So yeah, he's probably gonna lose.
I tend to agree as well. I got Tim Means a C-, Thiago Alves a D+. Just Alves to slow down so much. Tim Means, big physical advantage. And I think he's more dangerous on the feet. I think this is a pretty simple fight to call. Tim Means for the win. Simple as that. This fight I've been looking forward to. Good matchups, a couple good matchups in a row here now. We got Rob Font and Ricky Simon, kind of around, fringe top 15 guys. Font's a little higher ranked. Wes, start us off. Good bout here.
Yeah, I've become a really big fan of Rob Font, man. I wasn't really sold on him before, but this guy's turned into a really good fighter, man. He's got some really good wins on his resume over the past couple of years, and the losses that he's got is to two of the best guys in the division. Got choked by Pedro Munoz, which is that shit just tends to happen to fucking guys fighting Pedro Munoz. So not a bad loss. The decision to Asun Sal. The guy's turned into a really good fighter, man. I think the key here against Simone is just Rob Font's just more technical, man. I think his striking is just so much more tight and compact. He throws straight punches to where Simone gets a little wide and a little wild, and I think Font's going to make him pay for that, man. So Font's my favorite play on this entire card, man. Even at the little bit of juice at minus 140, I really, really like him here. I'm not sure. I guess maybe Simone still kind of got a little hype. People thinking that the Faber loss was a fluke. I'm not sure how much of a fluke it is. I don't know. Really how good Simone is. I know he had a really good win over Montel Jackson. Just think he's kind of got some fluky wins, I guess. So yeah, I like Rob Font big here, man. Favorite bet on the card. I'm not sure he gets Simone out of there, but I think he can absolutely outbox Ricky Simone for 3 rounds.
New Sean, you in agreement?
Yeah, I like Rob Font here as well. Not as much as Wes, but definitely give him a decent edge. He's definitely the more active guy. I think he's the sharper striker. Ricky Simone just does not throw that much. He also has a negative striking differential, which is not a good thing to see. He does get a shit ton of takedowns, so Rob Font is definitely going to have to be wary of that. So hopefully he doesn't spend too much time on his back. But I just think Rob Font has been in there with much better guys, done much better in those fights against those guys. So I haven't played Rob Font yet, but I'll be looking to put 1 unit on him right around the minus 140 range.
Yeah, I got Rob Font graded a B- with Ricky Simone a C. I really like Rob Font in this fight. I'm more in the West camp that I think Simone was going to struggle to get Rob Font to the mat, and Rob Font's just a way better technical striker than Simone. I mean, Rob Font's I would say a close to I'd say a very good striker in the UFC. I'm not going to say great. I don't think that's a little strong, but he's very good. He's classically trained from a boxing background, and I think he picks apart Ricky Simone. I think he continues to be a bit undervalued in the UFC. He's a solid top 15 bantamweight, and I like him here at short odds, and I believe that makes him our consensus bet of the week. Rob Font is it minus 140 new, Sean, now?
Yes, sir, it is.
All right. There it is. Consensus bet of the week, Rob Font minus 140. Let's move up to the main card. Also on ESPN. This is a televised card. So we got this might be my favorite fight on the card. We got Cody Stamann taking on the China Goat, Song Yadong. You know what I'm saying, Wes?
Just China Goat shit. This is a great fight, man. I think this is going to be really fun too. Should have some action. I think it's a close fight. I think the line's just a little off. Is kind of how I'm looking at this fight from a betting perspective. I think Stamann's just guy's he's pretty good, man. He's got some really good wins in the UFC. Tom Duquesnoy, Brian Caraway win. Alejandro Perez, which is dude's no slouch. That guy is a tough out every single time. Lost to Aljo on that knee bar, but we know how good Aljo is. That dude's a title contender now. I just think Stamann's wrestling here should let him kind of dictate where the fight takes place. Man, but it is close, man. China Goats, he's really good, man. That dude's been coming on here this past year. It's got some pretty decent wins, but just at this point, I think Stamann's a little bit further ahead of him, especially with the level of competition that he's faced. He's 30 now. Song's still only 22, so Stamann's definitely got the experience edge here, and I just think he can wrestle his way to a decision here, and probably wouldn't bet the fight if Stamann wasn't at plus 170, and it seems like he's getting a little bit better, so I'm gonna hold off a little longer and see if I can maybe get that up around 2-1, and if it gets 2-1, I will definitely be playing Stamann. Like I said, think it's a close fight, but Stamann can get a decision here.
Dushan, is China Goat gonna continue his exciting run, or is it upset in the cards?
I think he might. I mean, China Goat has some big power.
He's good.
He is facing the
good.
best wrestler he's faced. He has good statistically he has good takedown defense, but Cody Stamann's easily the best wrestler that the Dong has faced so far. So you got to take that with a grain of salt. Could I see Cody Stamann wrestling his ass off and getting a decision? It's definitely possible, and it's tough when you don't know how great of wrestling training Song Yadong is getting. But could I also see him stuffing some takedowns and lighting Stamann up on the feet? It's definitely possible too. I felt like Stamann, he didn't look great against Alejandro Perez. Like obviously the loss against Aljo is not a bad loss. Maybe I just expected a little more from him against Alejandro Perez. But he's definitely faced the tougher competition. So we'll see. It's no play for me. It's more of a sit and watch, and hopefully some fun shit happens.
I got Stamann a C+, Song Yadong a C. I think this is Yadong's toughest test to date. I'm definitely worried a little bit about the wrestling of Stamann and what he's capable of there. Stamann does tend to slow down though in his fights, and that certainly a concern. Yadong, I think, is a more crafty striker, and it's close. I see a path to victory for both guys. I lean Song Yadong to maybe get the victory because I'm not sure I trust Stamann over the course of all 3 rounds, but it's close. This is definitely one of the hardest fights to call on the card, in my opinion. 4 fights left on the card. Actually, not the last women's fight. There's 2 women's fights, 2 men's fights. This one is Yana Kunitskaya, which sounds like a 1980 gymnast in the Olympics, if you ask me.
Yep.
Taking on Aspen Ladd, not a 1980s Olympics gymnast. Wes, do you care at all about this fight? At all?
Maybe just a tiny bit.
Wow.
Not much.
Way to lie to the listener.
I think Ladd's gonna take her down and smash her. Ladd's gonna get right off of that loss. That's all I got.
Okay. Nice. I like that. Nice, quick, and simple. New Sean, are you betting it over here?
Not touching it.
You're just not. It's.
You know, I had such a long. There was like a nice 2-week break, so I'm not really forcing any plays. I don't really. It's really tough for me to give a shit about this fight. I guess we'll see what Ladd comes back with after that very, very quick KO from Durandamy. I've never thought much of Kunitskaya. They both these girls throw roughly the same amount. Whether one throws more than the other or harder than the other, I would say Ladd is a bit of more of a power puncher, but she still doesn't get knocked down. So hopefully it ends quick, but I think it's going to decision.
Okay. That is understandable. I got both these women a C+. Kunitskaya, I think, is a better striker. Ladd, better on the mat. I'm with West, though. I think this goes to the ground. I don't think Kunitskaya can stuff the takedowns, and therefore Ladd gets the victory. And I think will be a rather lackluster decision. 3 fights left. We got Ben Rothwell, the dude, taking on a heavy heart. Stefan Struve.
No, a lighter heart.
Oh, well, I was
whatever it is,
about,
it's a bad heart. That's all I know.
It takes a little more energy to run that heart, is what I was trying to say. But yeah, okay, Wes.
This is just an absolute shit fight. Like this is fucking bad, man. I think this is gonna get really sloppy, really ugly. I think Rothwell probably wins.
KOs, doesn't he?
I don't know, man. I could see him laying on top of Struve for fucking 15 minutes.
Could he sub Struve?
No, I can't see that. I could see him laying in his guard though, and not letting Struve throw up that triangle or something, and just kind of hammer fisting on his face for a while. Yeah, I can't touch this fight, man. If I any kind of bet here, I think the over. I think this gets sloppy and really nasty, and this probably goes to the cards. Rothwell will be the pick, but I don't know how you could have your money on either one of these guys. Seriously, how can you pick this fight?
New Sean.
Flip a damn coin. That's how you pick
Coins
this
are
fight. Good. Struve did get a win last time, but holy crap, did he look bad against Rogerio de Lima, who is absolutely terrible.
Roger, he just gassed and shit like he usually does. You know what I'm saying?
He just gave up, tired out.
Yeah.
And Rothwell looked absolutely terrible against Arlovsky. It's kind of crazy the stretch that he's been on after a couple impressive wins, and then he's just been a dumpster fire in his last 3. So you couldn't pay me to bet this fight. I will pick Ben Rothwell, but not a chance.
All right, fair. I got both these guys a D+. The one thing about Rothwell is he's pretty durable. Struve, not so much. Therefore, I take Rothwell. I think Rothwell hits harder. He's less likely to be finished, and he beats Struve because of that. Let's move on. Co-main event, Cynthia Calvillo and Marina Rodriguez, and what should be a fairly decent contest, West. Interesting style clash, right?
Yeah, definitely, and probably should be a a good fight to watch. Hopefully, we don't get many in the women's division, but I think this could be one. This like you said, this is pretty much a stylistic clash here. Calvallo wants to get this to the mat, and Rodriguez is fun to watch on the feet, man. Chick throws a ton of volume. Seems to have some pretty decent takedown defense as well. So if she keeps this up, I think she could bomb on Calvillo here. She just absolutely beat the piss and shit out of Tisha Torres and Jessica Aguilar in her past couple. And I think if this stays on the feet and stays a kickboxing match, she's going to do the same here. And I kind of want maybe a tiny bit better of a price on her to better. Would like to see it get down a little bit. Maybe if it does drop a little bit, I'll bet Rodriguez here. She'll definitely be the pick.
Okay, Nushan, any thoughts on this fight?
I like Rodriguez here. I think definitely the big difference is if Rodriguez can keep this on the feet, then Calvillo should likely get lit the fuck up. Calvillo, she does go for some takedowns. She only goes for about 1.5 takedowns per 15 minutes. So it's not like she just spams them. So anytime this is on the feet, I think Rodriguez is going to be throwing volume. And in a fight that I think we all think is going to go to decision, I'll take the lady that throws a ton of volume. So I haven't bet it yet, but I'll probably be putting 1 or 2 units on Marina Rodriguez.
Was that your line of thinking? There is no props out for sub and knockout yet, but I got Calvillo a B-, Rodriguez a C+. I think Calvillo is a really tricky fighter. I think her submission game, or just her submission prowess, is one of the best in this division. Probably top 3. She's really dangerous in that regard. On the feet, though, she's made improvements, but she's certainly not a big threat on the feet. So I think if Calvillo wins, it's going to be by submission. That's the prop I would look for. Otherwise, Rodriguez likely wins this fight. There's a few different ways that you could potentially play that. I think it would be Rodriguez. Likely they'll be Rodriguez by decision plus 140. So that's how I would kind of look at it. I would look at it as Calvillo. Calvillo inside the distance right now is plus 320. So you have to think that sub prop is probably going to be around, I don't know,
450.
Yeah, so I think you could play that both ways. Rodriguez plus 140 and the Calvillo around plus 400 with the sub, and you can make money on both sides. So interesting ARB opportunity there, in what should be a pretty interesting contest. Main event, the unfortunate circumstances that were around the original bout here, but instead we get Rozenstruik jumping in with easily the biggest fight of his career. This is kind of a make or break kind of moment for him. I like these kind of fights. We'll get the opportunity to see if he, if he's worth the hype against the myth, the man, the legend, the Reem, Alistair Overeem, Jair Rozenstruik. Wes, break this down for us.
Yeah, this is by far Rozenstruik's biggest fight of his life. I mean, he's fighting the legend of the heavyweight division, man. This is I think this fight's gonna go one of two ways, man. Rozenstruik's gonna either catch Reem with something and fuck him up, or Reem is gonna get that takedown. That's kind of how Reem approaches fights now. It has been working for him lately. Even though Alexei was kind of lighting him up. I know Shauna talked about, we agree on it, that he probably definitely overlooked his stand-up, and he ended up finishing Alexei anyway. I'm not sure that Reem is going to be able to get that takedown quick here, man. And if he doesn't, I really think he's in some trouble. I still think that chin is completely fucking done. I mean, hell, it's been years that he's been getting just completely slicked out. I know he's tried to fight a little different lately, but I just not sure that's gonna matter here, man. If he gets Rozenstruik down, more power to him, because I think he will lay the ground and pound on him and get him out of there or fuck him up enough to where he's going to be way ahead in the fight. I don't think that happens. I think Rozenstruik catches him and knocks him out, and I will be taking that bet. So Rozenstruik for me. I think this guy gets the biggest win of his career against Overeem.
What are you thinking here, New Sean?
All right, this is going to be good.
Or are you on the Overeem?
Somebody's going to have bragging rights next week because I am on the completely opposite side. I'm big on Alistair Overeem. I hate putting too much money on heavyweights because dumb shit does happen, and fights can completely change on one punch, especially when you are trying to hit Overeem's sketchy-ass chin. With that being said, the diaper baby was able to take down Rozenstruik. I hope that Overeem fights smart and doesn't want to get more and more and more brain damage that he has already accumulated his entire career. And he takes Rozenstruik down. Overeem's still a good striker. That chin is still very, very questionable at his age. But this guy is still a very good striker. I think Rozenstruik definitely does have the power advantage and has shown some very, very clean striking. But I expect Overeem to kind of use the game plan he did against Pavlovich, just kind of get some timing on the feet and take it down and then put him away. So I hate myself, but I got to do it. I got 3 units on Overeem at minus 125.
It's a lot of units.
Yep.
Yeah. Max betting.
That's your biggest heavyweight bet in a long while, right?
So, funny story. This is probably my biggest heavyweight bet since I bet JDS against Overeem and lost a shit ton of money.
Oh yeah, I remember that fight.
Yeah, I thought JDS was gonna just tune him up, and then that turned into a weird fight, and then Overeem knocked out JDS. So I'm sure he will let me down, just like he let me down, however many years ago that was.
Yeah,
not a 3-unit bet for me. just one.
But yeah, I got Overeem a B-, Rozenstruik a C-. Rozenstruik's so unproven. He's beaten a couple guys. His last one was, I guess, his most impressive. He's never fought anybody with the technical ability of Overeem. Overeem's fought big punchers before. He's been knocked out, but he also does a really good job at this age of covering up smartly and letting guys wear themselves out. I think he can also go for takedowns here. Rozenstruik is really unproven on the mat. And we've seen Overeem just recently get a finish over Pavlovich, who's, I think a fairly decent heavyweight prospect, by being able to take him down and beat him up on the mat. There's certainly a possibility where Reem gets knocked out by Rozenstruik, and Rozenstruik is dangerous. It's definitely not the most comfortable bet you want to make. If I'm being honest, it's always a dangerous scenario. It's like betting against Derek Lewis, right? It's like a very similar scenario where you're freaking nervous as hell because there's any possibility he gets the finish, but otherwise he usually gets beat up. Just like his last fight, which he somehow stole at Madison Square Garden. Lewis, Rozenstruik's kind of similar. Rozenstruik is way more technical than Lewis. There's no doubt about it, but Lewis, has a little more ability in terms of getting at it, when he's taken down to get back to his feet and stuff. But I think the same rules apply where he's a finisher, and when he's facing Reem, is just crafty and a veteran. I just think Overeem has way more ways to win, and so he really should win, and that's why the grade gap is as significant as it is. But the knockout opportunity is certainly there. I think that's the only way Rozenstruik can win is by knockout. and has to do so in the first 7.5 minutes of the bout. That does it for this week's show. We are back, and yeah, that was fun. So thanks for joining us, and we got a couple events to remain in the year.
The event next
The
weekend's
event
the
next week.
triple
event.
title fight.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, the welterweight
Fucking
title is on the
Aldo.
line.
We get Peter Yan, fucking Aldo Moraes,
Jeff Neal,
Dude.
Mike Perry.
Mike Perry. Yeah, Jeff. Yeah, that's just a fucking magnificent card. Holy shit! Finally get to see fucking our boy Usman put the beat down on this motherfucker.
You've been waiting for that for a long time.
Max fucking Volkanovski, like that card's just fucking sick, man. So sick.
Wes is pumped up for this. Definitely pumped up. We'll be back next week. Tune in then. Enjoy the fights.